Right, for Nutrien here in downtown Wagga, we've actually, no mistake, well, we've got the river behind us, but great to be catching up with Brett Scully, General Manager of, I'll go with racing. You've got a few other little banners over the top, but firstly, thank you very much for joining me.
No, pleasure to be here. Yeah, great day.
Isn't it? It is a great day. We've actually got the film crews over there, Bardo's doing it. You've just finished your official duties, but yeah, the announcement of the $1 million race, well, it's been made a little while ago, but I think today marks the officialdom, if you like, of the race, and it's bloody exciting for racing, not only in New South Wales, I think harness racing full stop. Like, it's just an exciting announcement.
Yeah, absolutely. We're delivering back to the regions. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened outside of the metro area. So, you know, to have a $1 million race series here in Wagga, or $1 million finals night, that's not taking into account the heats. Having that here on 30th of May, that's massive for Wagga, and it's massive for the Riverina as a whole.
It is, and harness racing New South Wales, but I think the one thing about Nutrien is they basically cover the whole eastern seaboard. We did a sale down in Tasmania, February 14, seems like a long time ago for us, but it wasn't that long ago, and their commitment for the industry, one of the reasons it is here, and it was emphasised with the Sunshine Stars, was that centralisation. I mean, it's been in Melbourne for 3 years prior to the moving here. Go to Menangle, the guys in Victoria will be saying, oh, they've got to go 8 hours. You know, Tassie have got another day trip basically on top of that. To have it here is so central for the guys in Queensland. They're going to be able to make their way down here as well. So it's pretty important placement as to where this race series is, which, you know, is a great fillet for you guys, but it's so good for the industry full stop. Yeah,
it is. I mean, just given the amount of breeding that happens, you know, both in New South Wales and Victoria within, you know, a stone's throw of Wagga racecourse is just massive. And to have those guys, you know, being sort of equidistant between Sydney and Melbourne, you know, it's as you say, it takes that worry out of it for people. You know, Queensland even, you know, it's easy enough to get down here from there. It's a lot easier than it is to get down to Victoria. So, you know, it's a great placement for it, and it's great for breeding and those that support breeding within the country.
We sort of forget too, and like I wear a Nutrien hat proudly, but we sort of forget too that Nutrien weren't in harness racing 5 years ago, 6 years ago. They weren't actually in the sport. They've come into the sport. They've changed things up, you know, and I think they're, you know, invigorating things. To put $1 million race on after 5 years in a regional town, like nearly they had it for the last 2 years in Victoria, but it's just so good for harness racing, I think, anyway, myself. I think it's just awesome what they're able to do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's great to have Nutrien on board, and when Mark approached us about having this race series, it was an absolute no-brainer for us to get on and support and put it in Wagga at the same time, and supporting, you know, as you say, supporting Nutrien and supporting the breeding industry countrywide.
Mark's big on Riverina and the fact of how many horses are born, if you like, and he says like a 300 kilometre radius. I was just on the phone to Kath McIntosh from Lower Long Farms. You know, they come under that 300 metres. It does take in, you know, the top part of Victoria there, and it goes a fair way right up to just under Menangle. And horse stock that's bred, like sales last weekend, sales this weekend, the horses that have come in and around this area, it is a really cool fit, isn't it? It
is. It's massive. Yeah, it's you know, it's not far for some of the babies to come back and see their old homestead. So it's yeah, as you say, just having so many breeders within the region here just makes it so easy for us to place this in Wagga.
Numbers dwindling, if you like. Don't think last year's numbers are out. Rumour is that they're going to be pretty close to where they were last year. Whether they're up or down, I'm not. You know, no one's going to know that until they all come out. But breeding is such an important part of the industry, and we need to nourish it, we need to grow it, we need to continue to do it. Harness Racing New South Wales, I believe, have that same thought process?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I know that numbers have been dwindling, and that's been the case for 25 years. But the positive side of that is what we see is more of those horses being bred are going to the races. You know, we used to have a lot of wastage. These days, if you're breeding to race, and that's exactly what we want to see. Yeah. Harness Racing New South Wales, we're always supporting initiatives. You know, we've put our prize money up for our 2- and 3-year-old races, so you don't race for less than $12,000 now. If you're bred in New South Wales, you've got races for $15,000. So it's, you know, we want to support the breeding, and we want to support harness racing, because they're the horses that supply our races in the future.
And I think with that, like we saw that results. You know, I think it was a record sale for Bardo last weekend, hopefully again for this weekend for the guys as well. But yeah, it's great for Bardo. But the people that whose averages are going up, that's so good for those, and they will continue to reinvest. These guys are dyed in the wool harness people, and I think a lot of that does flow back to that 2 and 3 year olds. I don't know how many young people I actually interviewed who mentioned the fact that you have to come back to the sales to be able to get a 2 and 3 year old, because it's so hard otherwise to get one. So there is this, it has actually already worked. We saw that last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we want to see too. We were a little bit soft around the middle the past couple of seasons. I think, and I'm not going to say it's all down to Harness Racing New South Wales announcing more prize money, but we have.
It does help.
It definitely helps, yeah. So you can go and in that middle period, you know, if you've got you can buy one for $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. If you go and win a New South Wales bred race, you've almost won your money back.
Yeah.
And with our Breeders' Challenge certificates and bonuses, you know, if you're New South Wales bred, that's another $12,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're great to see people coming back, and it's great to know that people want to get 2 and 3 year old racing going.
Yeah, and I think it's so good. It gives you something to talk about. You know, you get those races day in, day out. It does get a bit pedestrian. It gets a little bit hard sometimes to be positive, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, look, and yeah, as I say, you know, we're running more 3 year olds than we ever have done before. Yeah. We're running more 2 year old races than we ever had done before. They're the future of racing. They're the now of racing. So, you know, it's great to see those races getting up, and it's great to see people supporting them, and it's great to see people with, you know, the outcomes that they want from those races.
One of the flow-on effects, and when you already started announcing your announcements a few years ago with Wagga, and it being so close to the border, unfortunately Victoria, where I come from, we've had a downturn in prize money. Does the flow-on effect of that worry you? The fact that a lot of the Victorians come up here. Nathan Jack's a regular. I know he is a New South Welshman, because that's where he was born. He was born here. Or you're in Quinny, I get into trouble for that, I think, if you say the wrong part. But, I mean, does that concern you guys, that, you know, there are raiders that continually come in and try and take these purse away, or is that something that Harness Racing New South Wales embrace?
Oh, look, we embrace it. I mean, yeah, our job is to put on races, and our job is to have horses going around those races and provide a product for people to bet on. If people are coming Victoria, that's fine. Yep. Yeah, for me personally, I know other people might disagree, but it used to be the same.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it used to be the same thing. People used to say, "Oh, Queenslanders come down and steal all the races at Tamworth."
Yep.
Well, it's now pretty much all New South Wales trained horses in Tamworth. So, you know, if we're filling up race fields and we're getting 8, 9, 10 races each race meeting, that's what we want.
Yeah, exactly. This club, the Wagga Harness Racing Club, you must be wrapped with the drive that they're doing. I know they go to the regional championships last 2 years they've been able to have those. Their cup meeting they've increased. Good mate of ours, Greg Gangle, introduced the Ducks Hounds, and that's just exploded. They are very proactive. They're continuing to think outside of the square. I know they've got shirts, hats. Bring it down here to the river. You must be wrapped with it. That innovative thinking. That's a hard word for me to say. That must be something that you guys must really embrace, thinking outside the square.
Absolutely, and they're a proactive club here in Wagga, and not to say that they're the only one.
No.
There's plenty around the state, but yeah, what Wagga's doing down here is great. Yeah, we've got the championships, the 4 and 5 year olds coming up in a couple of weeks. They had the Carnival Cups this year. That was massive.
Yep.
And now we've got the Nutrien finals here as well. This is, you couldn't ask for any more from a club than what Wagga's doing.
Yeah, it's terrific, and it has grown. And it did have, probably fair to say a few years ago, it was a lot of people were saying about how expensive it was and was it worth it and all the rest. But I think now it's starting to reap those rewards, and well done to the guys back then that drove it and continue to drive it, put their head on the chopping block if you like, but have managed to bring out a state-of-the-art track with state-of-the-art facilities, and now they're getting the racing coming and the people coming with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember going to the Wagga Harness 20 years ago when it was at the showground, and there was probably half a dozen people there on a Friday, and it was back then it was pretty dire.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's been put into it, and Harness Racing New South Wales building the track here, purpose built for harness racing, which is setting blistering times, and the club people that are looking after it, it's been massive. It's a massive turnaround that we've had in the past 20, 15 years.
Yeah, and I think well done to you guys and the foresight of the people designing the tracks. I quite often say about how simple they are, but that simplicity works, because as you said, those nights when you only get 6 people, The clubhouse still looks full, and everything else like that, yet they're able to cater for bigger because you can put a marquee up if you want, or there's still well and truly enough room there for people. Just quickly, harness racing yourself, you're happy with how things are tracking for the state themselves at the minute, and do you have some big announcements, more big announcements up your sleeve yet to come out?
Yeah, we'll be keeping those under our hat for now.
I can try. I can try. Now, I never worry about being the first, but I don't mind breaking some news if it does happen.
You're the first on the list when I call people. Look, obviously there's a bit of a downturn at the moment. We've got to expect that, but the way that we're going at the moment with our prize money and what we're investing into the sport and what we're investing into the people and the horses, we're happy with where we are at the moment. So given all the slings and arrows that we're getting, we're committed to doing what we're doing as best we can. As you see with the 2 and 3 year old racing, we're happy to promote things like that and make sure that we've got people sticking around, and more importantly, getting new people into the industry. That's always a massive thing. And
I think that's one of the great things you do. I can go to a race meeting here at Wagga, and there's a lot of people I don't know. Which is a great thing because it means they're a new face. I don't know everyone anyway, but I think it's a really cool part of it. So I think that part's always good. Mate, I will let you go. Well done. Thanks for making the trip down too. I think that's been a great commitment from Harness Racing New South Wales as well to be here. I'm sure Bardo's very proud of that part as well, but thank you, and we'll see you here May 30th. Anyone wants to know too, Brett just flew up this morning on the plane, gets in about 10 o'clock I think. Is that correct?
That's it.
You're going to fly out about 4 o'clock, you'll be back in Sydney. So
that's it.
It can be a hit and run mission if people want to. Obviously when the races are on, you don't want to do that, you want to allow yourself a bit extra time, but it is very centralised to get to as well.
There's plenty of pubs and clubs and a few other things to go to after the races here in Wagga, so I would encourage people to at least make a weekend of it. Around May 30.
No, absolutely. I think we're going to the pub in a minute, but just to put it in perspective, they are one of the major sponsors as well, and I think that's where the Calcutta's going to go. So we'll catch up with the guys there as well. But Brett, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.